Hi there, welcome back to the archives. So we are getting to the end of the book. The end of Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft. So now we are at the last section. The making of an abusive man. So basically we're going to look at changing the abusive man, right? Can he change? Is it possible to change? And what keeps him from changing? And so this chapter really goes into how it's socialization, right? The chances that he'll change is very slim to none because society itself enables it. Patriarchy loves these type of men. Patriarchy creates this type of men. Patriarchy feeds this type of men. It grooms them. These are the patriarchs, right? I get to do whatever it is that I want. You are entitled to me. You are my property. You came out of my ribs. You are the neck. You are beneath me. All you're good for is to be barefoot in the kitchen, cooking and feeding me, doing my laundry, cleaning up the house for me. You are supposed to be my servant. You're going to have these kids. You're going to rule and run this household. I'm going to run this household, but you're going to raise these kids how I want them to. What I tell you to do, you do. When I say jump, you jump. I am entitled to your everything. You have to cater your life to me as a man. Why would you change that? We're not going to change. This is what society wants across all cultures, right? Whether it's African, West African, South African. South Africa has a huge domestic violence problem. East Africa, the same thing. North Africa, same thing, right? In Europe, same thing. North America, same thing. Australia, all over the world. India, same thing. Pakistan, same thing. China, same thing, right? And you see this in history. And in history, you see it with Confucianism, for instance, where it introduces like family values and marriage. You see this with the Roman Empire, right? Family values and marriage. The men, you got to get married, right? So we see it in history, how it was. I've been sharing how it started in history. This is what it looks like now in the 21st century, right? And so basically, it's a society, it's a culture, it's a continuum. It talks about where did he learn this? From his father, from his uncle, his grandfather, his older cousins, his mentors, his coaches. And again, remember, a lot of these abusers are abused themselves, right? They grew up as recipients of violence. The law and the legal system colludes against abusive women, so they see their mothers being pushed aside. Their religion tells them. So the most influential religious scriptures in the world today, including the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and major Buddhist and Hindu writings, explicitly instruct women to submit to male domination. So it's embedded in all of our cultures, right? Whether it's Buddhist traditions, Hindu traditions, Sikhism, Taoism, is just even though there's yin and the yang, right? You need the masculine and the feminine energy. At the same time, it's still, when it comes culturally, it's still men. The masculine still supersedes the women, right? Across all. Genesis, for instance, says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, right? This is Adam and Eve. He ate the fruit, the apple. So now in sorrow we shall bring forth children. Our periods are going to be painful because we're damned to eternal damnation because of Eve. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, right? And he shall rule over thee. So right there, the Bible said it. The Bible said it. I go by the word of God. I'm a champion for God. I'm a warrior for Christ. God said it. My man is going to rule over me. He could beat the shit out of me if he wants. I will never divorce him. I'm going to stick beside him because Jesus Christ said I should stick beside him. So basically, scripture justifies abuse. Yeah. Popular culture talks about Eminem winning the Grammy back in the days. I think it was like 2005 or something. Remember when Eminem won a Grammy for Kim? That song was like the Abuser's Playbook. He literally, even more horrible than Eminem's, this is page 323. Even more horrible than Eminem's decision to record this song glorifying the murder of a woman and child is the fact that it did not stop him from receiving a Grammy. When a teen boy or a young man, what is a teen boy or a young man to conclude? Right? If I can safely say that if a singer was openly promoted the killing of Jews or blacks or people in wheelchairs, they would be ineligible for a Grammy. But you talk about killing a woman and a child, oh, make it rain on you. They make it rain on you. Let me give you an award. So it talks about Eminem and Kim, the song Kim, where basically he talks about killing her. He says how he's going to kill her. He's going to put her in the trunk. He says he killed his son. And I'm going to make it look like you killed the kid. Eminem is deranged, eh? Gets an Grammy. The whole world applauded. We're like, oh, okay. That's how you feel about your ex? Damn. And he's got a daughter, right? It's just like, imagine being Haley growing up to be like, oh, damn, this is a song my dad wrote about my mom? You want to kill that? You call her a bitch? You wouldn't get... okay. You got a Grammy for it. So he talks about Guns N' Roses. Remember their song where it says, I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I had to put her 6 feet under, and I could still hear her complain. And so basically this song supports the common attitude among physical abusers that women's complaints are what provoked their violence. You should have kept your mouth shut, bitch. Nobody asked you to speak up. Nobody asked you to talk back. Now this Glock is in your face. And you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry I have autonomy. I'm so sorry I use my voice. So it talks about popular culture and media, movies, television shows, even Disney, right? Even Disney it talked about. I think it talked about Aladdin. No, Beauty and the Beast was one of the examples it used, right? The Beast is terrible to Belle. He literally keeps her locked up, and she ends up falling for him. It talks about the Bearston Bears. I love the Bearston Bears as a kid. Apparently there was a episode called Trouble with Homework where the mother and the children are cowering because father is angry. I don't remember that. But even the Bearston Bears has abuse in there. Little Mermaid, right? She gives her voice up for the man. So it talks about pop culture, it talks about porn. We talked about porn already. And then it talks also about how the media coverage, the language. I saw a video yesterday on Instagram where this black woman, I think it was a Ghanaian woman, and other people have said it, when a man kills his wife and his kids, it's like, oh, well, he was a family man, right? You'll never hear them say she was a when a woman kills her child in like a psychosis or for whatever reason, sometimes they'll drown the kid, or you'll never hear them be like, well, this family woman killed her son. But when it's a man who like kills his whole family, it's like, well, he was a family man. Same thing with school shootings, right? They're almost 100% men, boys. It's boys who kill. And the headlines will be like, well, kids are killing kids. And it's like, no, boys are killing kids. And so just the language, how the media softens it. There was one case where 2 young boys went on a shooting rampage, and basically it was because they were angry that their girlfriends had broken up with them. You saw that case in England where the young girl just rejected the young boy and he killed her, right? So again, it's in our culture. This is the normal. There's a normalization of all of this, right? And so it's in your home, it's in your books, it's in your movies, it's everywhere. It's in the music you listen to, the video games you play. You go on TikTok, it's there. You go on YouTube. Somebody was saying they signed up for a YouTube account, fresh, never been on. They didn't want their algorithms to be affecting, and automatically YouTube directed them to all of the red pill content, all of the anti-feminist content, right? So all of apps, you see it, right? I'll post something that is on Facebook, and Facebook won't even show the thumbnail anymore. Facebook just grays it out. Oh, too woke, right? Meta is just like, no girl, this is too woke. We're not even going to show people what the thumbnail is. And so, like, you see the apps, it's a society. You can't escape it. Mark Zuckerberg says that we're getting too soft. Bring back toxic masculinity. It's in the culture. They love it. And why wouldn't you love it? You runtings. They love it. The men love it. I get to punch and beat the shit out of you for free. As a woman, that's why I played rugby. I love rugby because I could take my aggression out for free. But as a woman, I know to channel in a healthy way. I'm not going to go box a man or another woman. I play rugby. I work out. I journal it out. They take it out on women. Many sons of abused women whom I know, including different people, they actually oppose abusive women. So it's not everybody, right? Again, it's not everybody. You have to be, he's very clear that, like, actually some people deviate. We're going to get into that in the next chapter. What differentiates a boy that chooses to be on the abuser's side compared to a boy that's like, this is wrong. Hitting women is wrong. Abusing women is wrong. And they're there. I see these kids, a lot of Gen Zs are actually getting it, which is why there's so much pushback, right? Because it's like, oh no, they're turning these boys into simps. Whole time, the simp is just a man that respects a woman. God forbid you respect a woman. So basically just distorted, right? Their perception is, as a young boy is growing up, he's told that, picture a beautiful woman, she's alluring, she focuses entirely on meeting your needs. You are the one, you are the center of her world. She sacrifices everything for you. She belongs to you. She caters to you. You are free to disrespect her. In his mind, this is the partner he's looking for. Then he meets a real woman, because again, a lot of them is distorted. Then you meet a real woman. She talks back. She says no. Right? It colludes with his fantasy. She divides him on occasion. She has other people in her life that she also caters to. She hangs out with her friends. God forbid she doesn't spend 24 hours with you. She might even attempt to break up with you. It distorts his reality. Everything he's known growing up, everything he's been told, becomes like, his world feels like it's crumbling because you're not acting like a woman. Now you're acting like a man. You better stop acting like a man and be the woman that I grew up knowing that I deserved and entitled to. So they don't change. That's why they don't change. It's normal. It's become normal. That's what the world wants, right? So it might be a great surprise that there are many boys who do not grow up to abuse women. And I want to hear more of those stories, right? The ones who do not abuse women. I refuse to get into another relationship unless I know it's healthy. That means I'm over here, and I'm going to get into that in the next section. Because a lot of these men talk about loneliness. Go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner. Just sit in the corner. That's what I've been doing for the last decade. Let me just isolate myself to get myself right. Let me get my mind right. Get your mind right. People, not everybody abuses. Not all men are like that. There are good men out here. There are really, really good men out there. I'm going to hold up and wait. I'm going to wait for them to be family. I'm going to wait for them. I'm going to wait to find these types of men as friends, as allies, maybe as a partner, maybe as a husband, maybe as a business partner. I'm going to wait for those men. I will wait. Maybe they'll never come, but I think I have to trust. As a Christian, I have to trust that God, you will send me at least one man that's not toxic. You think there's not one man in this world who's not toxic? You think all of them, all 7 billion, almost 8 billion people, well, there's less men, but no, there are people who do not abuse. Men want you to believe that that's just how they are. It's in their DNA. No, it's intergenerational, because your forefathers chose not to change. You can change. It's not that you can't change. You're just unwilling to change. You could put that work in to become different. Our brains are neuroplastic. There's neuroplasticity. You can change your mentality. You can change your mindset. You can transform your life. I'm going to wait for the ones who transform. Matter of fact, I want the ones who were never even toxic to begin with. That's hard though, right? Because all of us are toxic at some point, or have been. Right? We're in it. We're in the patriarchy. We're in the sexism. We're in the racism. We're in the white supremacy. We're in it. We drink the juice. We get that sauce. So you have to unlearn all of that. But there are men who don't do that, who are not power hungry, who respect women, who see women as equal, who treat women really, really well, who actually desire women, who want to be with women, who rate women, who uphold them. I'm not saying put them on a pedestal, because now, right? But put them on a pedestal. So basically that's it, right? Oh no, Jingle Bells. They just ruined Jingle Bells. Well, did you know that the composer of Amazing Grace was a slave trader? But he repented for his cruelty and became an abolitionist. So Amazing Grace. So people change is basically what they're trying to say. You could be a slave trader and become an abolitionist. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know about all that, but abusive men can learn respect and equality is basically what he's saying. But you won't make the changes unless you are subjected to tremendous pressure. And by pressure, the legal system, the woman, this is why they need to continue to be lonely. You have to feel the consequences. People online are like, you guys are not lonely enough. Right? They need immense pressure before they realize, oh, we pushed all of our sisters away, our daughters away. Like, the women don't even want to hang out with us anymore. Maybe we might want to change. They don't do that. Usually they try to coerce you to forgive them, to come back into their life. They just want access. They don't want to do no work. They don't want to do no work. There's no evidence of any change, but they just want you to let it go. So abusers are not born, they're made. In order to bring about change in abuser, we have to reshape his attitude about power and exploitation. You have to be courageous and resist. You have to stand up for yourself. And chapter 14, I'm going to do that because since we're talking about change, basically remaining abusive is in many ways easier than stepping out of the pattern, right? Which is why a lot of men don't do it. You have so many perks. You have so many privileges. You just get to do what you want. Why would you change that? Well, basically, he's saying that the men who make significant progress in my program are the ones who know that their partners will definitely leave them unless they change. Or probation is tough on them and their probation officer demands that they confront their abusiveness. But usually we think, me and one of my cousins were talking before, we're like, oh yeah, they have to change it for themselves. They have to want it. No, actually this book taught me that was a myth. Till before I read this, I was like, oh no, the man has to want to do it for himself. This book says that's not how it works. They'll never do it for themselves because there's nothing in it for them. It has to be external pressure, right? They have to be facing jail time. They have to be completely isolated and alone. They have to know that their women have to leave them. They need a lot of pressure before they change. They will never, it is not an intrinsic thing, right? The change is always extrinsic rather than self-motivated. So, and it takes about like 2 years. They said don't trust them until you see 2 years of consistent change. 2 years of consistent change, not months. Because what often happens is, like, what they said is they had to end up changing the program because these men would start the program, they would act really good. Oh my God, the court date is coming. The woman's like, wow, this man changed his life. she lets him back in. As soon as he's back in, he's back on his bullshit. As soon as she goes to court and says, yes, he's been making changes, oh my goodness, I'm so proud of him, he's back on his bullshit. So they said, not even months, wait at least 2 years. And even with that 2 years, there'll be men who will be good for 2 years now that he said 2 years. On day 1 of year 3, back on their bullshit. I say just leave them for good, because they don't change. That's just me being pessimistic. Find the ones who are already that. Don't wait for a man to change. The potential that he could be there needs to be evidence, because otherwise you're just getting the same cycle. You're getting the same cycle, right? And you can make it work, but it'll only work if you know that you basically have to be subservient, his doormat, you are his punching bag. Those are the marriages that last. People are like, oh my god, our grandmother. Yeah, because your grandmother was putting up with all this. She knew she was putting up with all of it. She endured. That's what Africans want. That's what our moms tell us. You're supposed to endure. No, you can endure. I will be single. I'm okay being single. I don't need to be pick me. I don't need to feel valuable and superior because I got a man, because I got a ring on the finger. You need that. You need that, mom, auntie, grandma, cousin. You need to feel validated by having a ring and being married. I don't want that part. I don't want to participate. I literally would rather be single. And they don't understand that, because they've shamed people to think that singleness is the worst thing. Oh my god, you pathetic 40-year-old, you're not married? Yeah, I'm just so pathetic. Oh my god, what a pathetic fucking loser. I would rather be a fucking loser than abused. So that's basically it. He has to admit to himself fully. He has to admit that he was wrong. He has to acknowledge what he did wrong. He has to accept that they'll be angry at him. He has to accept the consequences of his action. He can't get to demand forgiveness. And that's when I know I can't come back. When you're still demanding I forgive you, I know you have not changed. You can stay far away from me. Because if you are demanding forgiveness from me, you have not changed. And that's what it says. If he's still demanding forgiveness, he's not changed. Right? He should see forgiveness as an act of kindness, not as a due for him replacing or changing his behavior. He has to treat the abuser consistently well, or other people just consistently well, right? Minimum of 2 years. And he has to relinquish his negative attitudes. So these are some of the steps. These are the only ways to change. It's like AA, you got to admit it first, right? You got to admit it first. Most men don't make lasting changes because they skip a lot of the steps above. Or sometimes they'll get to the part where they say, I'm sorry. And then after they say sorry and you're still like, okay, but I'm not willing to accept access. Then they dig in. They don't change. That's where they stop. Once they apologize and you refuse to take them back, that's when you see that they haven't changed. And that's usually when they revert back. Because the entitlement comes back. And that's what started this whole thing. They felt entitled in the first place. Right? You've given up too much already. Don't budge another inch. Right? Now they're trying to control you. Now they're trying to manipulate me. Well then, fine. I'm not going to change. I tried changing for you and you didn't take me back. If you don't shut the up, that's not change. It's manipulation. So that's usually when they said, it's like once they like, I'm sorry, I've already told you sorry, now shut up about it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Why do you keep bringing it up? Almost c'est ça, almost c'est ça, almost and c'est ça. And you cry because he still feels entitled. So, and an abuser has to relinquish his core entitlement, and unless he relinquishes his core entitlement, he will never change. They use change as a bargaining chip, right? Well, I'll agree not to call you a bitch anymore if you don't bug me about cleaning the house. So next I'm going to do one more. I'm going to end this one here, and the last one we're going to talk about recovering from abuse. So I'm going to focus on women or those who are abused recovering from abuse, and that'll be the last one. Look, I finished the book last night, so I'm just going to do this one last recording, and that'll be it from It's a Wrap on Set. Why does he do that? Inside the minds of angry and controlling men. So I'm going to do one last one. If you stay tuned, if you've been watching this series, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're learning something. I definitely learned a lot from this book. It is older, but again, you see a lot of other people have married the same thing. This sounds a lot like what I've been reading in a lot of Black feminist texts, right? Bell Hooks talks about all of this. Toni Morrison writes about all of this, right? And so it's there. It's not just here. It's in other places as well. Other people have been talking about these dynamics for a very, 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 very long time. So anyways, thank you for staying tuned. If you made it this far, I'm going to do one more, and that'll be the final one, okay? Until next time, see you soon.